Hello. I come here with an urgent message. That's why I don't know why I'm about to say like, oh, that's why I'm looking so like underdressed, because I'm always underdressed in these videos. Anyway, yesterday I went to my brother's graduation. It was lovely. My little bro. A very special day. And that's not relevant because I took the train there and the train home, and the train ride was like an hour and a bit, and on it I read the whole of this book. And in this video I just want to talk about why you desperately need to read this book and why I'm just so happy that I picked it up. So it's called Prima Facie, and it's actually a play by Susie Miller. That's another thing, actually, you need to start reading plays, because plays are just such a different reading experience to books, because they tend to be a lot shorter and there tends to be a lot more of a clear, fast rhythm to them. And so they're just this ultimate palate cleanser. Even though they often talk about really like interesting, deep topics that make your cogs turn, they're still just little hits, you know, like a garlic and ginger shot. Garlic and ginger? Sorry, a ginger shot. Imagine. My breath would be so smelly. Anyway, this play is about a young barrister called Tessa. She's from a working class background and has worked her way up, ends up going to Cambridge, ends up being really excelling at her craft. Specifically, she's a defense barrister, and a lot of what she does is defending people accused of sexual assault. And the play really looks at, it's a monologue, so although I don't think she was the original person to perform it, JODIE Comer performs it in the UK and is currently touring. I didn't manage to see her in the UK, which is pretty heartbreaking, but I plan to watch there's a live, not a live stream, there's like a film of it that you can see. I think currently the performance is in New York. Anyway, I thought I'd read the play because I was like, I really want to read this, but can't see the play. Reading the book will do. And it hasn't, like, I still desperately want to watch the play, but I have to say it's a really cool experience seeing the words on the page, because this play in particular reads it like poetry. It's like reading a really long multi-act poem. If you just look at the way the words are on the page, you can see that as well. Like, a lot of the sentences leak over or are stopped prematurely on the page and go on to the next one, so you end up with these like little hanging lines, and it draws your eye to them more, and it makes you really follow the rhythm that Susie Miller is wanting you to follow, and it just has a really cool effect. Susie Miller is a defense barrister herself, and so she writes with this incredible precision. So it's this really, really emotive story, but again in this really concentrated tiny shot. And I also think because of the rhythm, it's really enjoyable to read it in one sitting. I love that I read it in this tiny session. So I just really recommend that you sit down with it, you plan your next long train journey, and you get yourself some snacks, go to the shop before, get yourself a sandwich, maybe a pack of crisps, set yourself up on your table, on your mini fold down table if you're just in a chair, and read this book because it's incredible. I realised I didn't finish telling you about what it's about. So she's this brilliant barrister, and she is also quite smug. She's very cocky. Honestly, this character is so JODIE Comer. I think it's because I've seen Killing Eve. I don't know, very Killing Eve coded. And she herself is sexually assaulted, and it's about her process of going to court and just the whole aftermath of that, and how it kind of, a system that she so revered is suddenly flipped on its head. And she definitely had her doubts, and you see that play through. Like, it's a very layered sort of step-by-step revelation process. It's also just a really interesting way to talk about a kind of Me Too-esque topic, because it's very legal, it's very technical. You can tell that the person who wrote this knows what they're talking about. So it's just kind of interesting, kind of educational from that point of view. In the UK, the process just overall is so grisly, and especially with the play opening with her point of view, her way of dealing with these people as a really quite aggressive barrister, and how she talks about how she sort of traps these people, as in alleged victims. She just kind of destroys. She kind of knows she's sort of doing a bad thing, but she describes going in for the kill and the satisfaction of winning the case, and this complete disconnect from the reality of what's right, which is what you have to do as a barrister. And again, that's spoken about in here. You know, you can't, there's no such thing as ultimate truth. There is only legal truth, and your role as the defense barrister, your role as the prosecution, is to create a story. And it's just about whose story sounds most convincing. And that really comes through here. And I don't know whether it's because I read very recently Crime and Punishment, so I'm clearly on this kind of hype of legal philosophical books, but I'm enjoying it. And especially because of the length of this, it's like the opposite of Crime and Punishment in terms of pace and length. But yeah, don't know what else to tell you, to be honest. It's just a really, despite the subject matter, like, it's a fun read, even though it's kind of tough at points. And I don't see many people talking about it. Maybe I'm just in a bubble, but I feel like people don't talk about it that much. And it might be because it's a play. I feel like I don't see that many plays on BookTube. That might be because I'm doing something wrong and I'm not meant to be talking about plays on here. But here we are. Anyway, this was fairly impromptu, so my brain's now empty. I hope you're having a lovely week. I will see you when I see you, and yeah, thanks for watching. Goodbye.